Big game on Sunday between North Carolina Central and Alabama State in the Orange Blossom Classic in Miami Gardens, Florida. In his third season as the head football coach of Alabama State is Eddie Robinson Jr. The Hornets last year were 7-4, won 6 of their last 7 ball games. So this should be a big-time football game as Coach Robinson joins us here on Box to Row. What's going on, Coach Robinson? Appreciate you coming on.
Absolutely, appreciate you having me, man, and love the work you do, and appreciate all the attention and media coverage you give to HBCU football.
Yes, sir. I appreciate that very much. We do here at Box to Row. Let me start here. I got to tell you, you've got a couple of guys coming in. Andrew Body, of course, played quarterback for Texas Southern last year. Rico Dozier at the linebacker position, played for Arkansas Pine Bluff on last year. Just talk about getting these two guys into your program who more than likely going to make an immediately and a big impact.
Yeah, I mean, we can start with Rico Dozier. I mean, it's the kid, year before last when he was at Pine Bluff, had about 17 tackles against us in the Turkey Day Classic. So we were very familiar with him. But the interesting thing about him, he's from Abbeville, Alabama, which is right up the road from us. And so it was good to get him back in the state of Alabama. Great kid, works extremely hard, never complains, and I'm excited to coach him. Of course, he's replacing Bubba Adams from last year, who was an all-conference, all-American guy, and we feel like he can step right in and take the reins over and be a great player at that position. And then Andrew Body is just a guy that's a leader on and off the field, just a great personality. Does everything right in the classroom, in the community, and he's the type of person that you want to have on the team.
No doubt. Let's go back to last year. Bit of a rough start. You opened the season with the victory, then had 3 straight losses before finishing the season, winning 6 of your last 7 games. Your thoughts, first of all, on last season and how perhaps the momentum from winning 6 of the last 7 can carry over into 2024.
Yeah, I think, like you said, we was off to a rough start. Played some pretty good football, but just had a couple turnovers. Just wasn't very efficient. Defense was playing well the whole time, and had a tough loss here at home in overtime against Alcorn. A tough loss against Miles College, a team that we felt like we were better than, but they beat us on that day, so you have to give them credit. And then had a tough loss on the road against FAMU, where we had the ball with 3 minutes left, down by 4, driving to score, and they made a play and made a pick six. The kid that was a player of the year linebacker. So it was just one of those things that you had to regroup. And my defensive coordinator, Ryan Lewis, he got up in front of the meeting and said, "Hey, man, I know we were talking of championship. We were talking of winning the SWAC and all those type things, Celebration Bowl. And let's worry about just winning today. Let's just go out there and win Tuesday, have the best Tuesday practice we can." And the biggest thing, the kids came out with a great attitude. I mean, they came out with a great attitude after that Alcorn loss, upbeat. The homecoming was the next week against Bethune-Cookman. And I think that stretch was basically we kind of simplified everything and started talking about the right now. So this year we've just carried it over, put some signs in the building. Hey, win today. And on the way out, we have a sign that said, "Hey, did we get better today?" So we make everything focus on a day-by-day approach. And then at the end of the season, you'll get everything you deserve.
That the voice of Eddie Robinson Jr. in his third season as the head football coach at Alabama State. He joins us here on Box to Row. Man, you've got, All-Americans all over the place. I talked about Dozier. You look at Thomas, your defensive end, James Burgess, your cornerback. Speak to perhaps how special this defense can be in 2024.
Yeah, Coach Lewis, Coach Williams, and Coach Middleton, our D-line coach. Those guys have really built something special. And I add my touch, but it's mainly them doing all the heavy lifting, and I just put the icing on top and give the rah-rah speech. And so, but it's been fun watching those guys develop year to year, and a lot of the same core guys. Burgess is back again. It's his 3rd year in our system. Cunningham, this guy that's a preseason all-conference guy. Played in the shed. He's the guy that can win Player of the Year. I think Rico could be a Player of the Year guy. I think Burgess is another guy. I think Traquan Thomas is a guy that can have double-digit sacks. Janelle Brown is a 5th-year guy who's just gotten better each year, and I think he's poised to have a great year. So it's fun coaching those guys, and they play extremely hard. They care a lot about each other, and you've got some good young guys in the mix, and they're taking on the standard and the personality of the coordinator and of myself. And so I'm anxious to see, can we get better than last year, and that's the goal.
And then Burgess is on the preseason watch list for the Reese's Senior Bowl. I mean, how exciting is that?
Yeah, that's big. And so, the last couple of years with Keenan Isaac, he was with the Bucks, and then recently got let go, but got picked up by the Carolina Panthers. And Mikey Victor's another kid that was with the Patriots, and we're hoping that he can make a name for himself and stay there or go to a different team. And so, for us, it's just exciting to have those guys. And now Burgess is following in the same footsteps of those guys. So they all talk. I mean, it's big when you see other people in the room, and then you see them going on to the next level, and that's your dream. And both of those guys had extreme high levels of work ethic, and I think that's what Burgess has now. And so he's kind of bit the apple, and he realizes I'm close, I'm right there, and so I think he has the talent, the size, and just the confidence that he can be that type of player.
Did you feel like this offense, because you were able to get a guy like a body coming out of out of the conference in Texas Southern, is he your? Do you feel like he's your quarterback away from getting to that next level from an offensive standpoint?
Yeah, I mean, we all know how big the quarterback position is. From little league all the way to the NFL, the quarterback is the guy that can make everything go. But I think him and we got another kid that transferred in, Jonah O'Brien. Both of those guys have been competing and pushing each other extremely hard, and so it's just been fun to watch both of those guys go back and forth. Similar skill sets, but body. I think the things that he can do with his legs and just the way he moves and controls everything. It truly can be special. And I think the biggest thing for us from last year to this year is I feel like we have more playmakers. I think it's the same guys, but they were all true freshmen last year. So now you're coming into that second year. They're kind of figuring it out. And I think now we can have a 5 or 8 yard pass turned into a 40 and 50-yard run. So we have to be more explosive on offense. People say, oh, man, he just want to play special teams and defense. But now we want to score points. I mean, I want to have an offense that can go up and down the field and make big plays and make the defense panic and stress them out, but at the same time have a physical running game. And so we're trying to get that right balance, but the quarterback position has a lot to do with it.
Eddie Robinson Jr., the head football coach at Alabama State, joining us for a couple of more moments here on Box to Row. I don't know. I mean, I guess people aren't really sleeping on Marcus Harris the second because he was a preseason all-conference guy. He may not have been your more featured back last year, but this kid is 233 pounds. He's going to put a hurting on some defensive players this year.
Yeah, I mean, he came here like that. So I mean, we have a great weight program, but after he signed him, he sent us a picture and he was doing 225 30 times in high school. I was like, man. So it's like a great kid, great family. His dad comes and cooks catfish for us, after the home games and stuff, and probably some of the best catfish I ever had. I'm not exaggerating. He's out of Jackson, Mississippi. I said, man, you should have a restaurant. But they're a great family, but this kid here can really have a big year, and I think he catches the ball well out the backfield, so we just need to get him more touches. Also, DeQuan Kinsey is the guy that transferred from Clark, Atlanta. Him and Rico Dozier played together in high school. So both of those kids are from Abbeville, Alabama, and they're back in the States. So it's going to be fun, man. I like the running game that we have. The guys up front are really moving the ball. We've been having a lot of physical practices. And so I think, to me, football is all about blocking and tackling. And if you can run downhill and be physical and stop your opponent from doing the same thing, then you have a chance to be really good.
Couple of more thoughts. Actually, let me ask you about Central. I want to get your thoughts. A couple of years removed from being HBCU national champs. This may be to start the season. I don't know if you can get a much better matchup than the Hornets and the Eagles. Your thoughts on some of the challenges that North Carolina Central present?
Yeah, I mean, they have a veteran quarterback, not a lot of experience because he was playing behind an All-American guy, but he's been there 3-4 years, so he knows the offense like the coach, and so he'll be able to distribute the ball. They have some playmakers, tall kid, 88, who can make plays down the field. A really good running back who's a a run and catch option. And so a lot of respect for the defensive coordinator. I remember he was at North Carolina A&T, and he was there with our offensive coordinator. They both coached there together when they were winning championships, and he was the D-line coach. And just a lot of respect for him. I mean, he has those guys that are going to play extremely hard. And as a defensive guy, I have to respect that. And so have an All-American at the nose guard position who will be tough to block. So it's a great opponent. And I think both teams are going to find out what they're good at. And our weaknesses will be exposed. But I think it'll help both teams to get better as the year go on. Somebody's going to have to lose the game, of course. But I don't think that this game is going to be the defining game of either season. But we want to get off to a great start. But I like having a good opponent just because it kind of sets the tone of where you are. Like last year we played Southern at home, good opponent. I think we won 10-7. And, it really let us know what we were about. And so, but we want to get off to a good start and have a great season. And we know this game is a big part of it. So I just love the matchup. And whenever you have the MEAC playing the SWAC, you always have that rivalry with the two conferences of what teams are going to do the better job of beating the other one. And of course, FAMU got a tough win against Norfolk. So the SWAC is up 1-0 this year. So we just want to try to keep it going.
Two last thoughts. You played, maybe an old school kind of guy. The NIL and the transfer portal are really what they are. I noticed that, of course, Alabama State has an NIL partnership, which is great because you got to play kind of on this level. You went out and got two guys within the conference that we mentioned, Body and Dozier. Your thoughts? I mean, are you a big NIL or and transfer portal guy, even though you kind of have to make it work?
Yeah, so I've been saying for the last 20, 30 years that college football players should get paid for what they do. I mean, if you're going to play, 12 regular season games, a conference championship game, and then a playoff game, and another, you're almost at 16. At that point, you should get paid. So whether it's NIL, whether it's from the schools, however you want to mix it up, I think it's great that the college football players are getting the money that they are getting. They truly, truly deserve it. So I'm 100% for it. I think for our level, for what we can do, it won't be as much, but I think what we're offering is more of a relationship. We're going to be that coach that's going to be with you for the long term. And I think that HBCU football experience, like I tell people, if you went to Jackson State, Alcorn, FAMU, Bethune, once you start going to classic games, long after you're not at your school, like right now, if Jackson State's playing Southern, if I'm in Baton Rouge or Jackson, I'm going to the game just because I'm a fan of HBCU football. If I can go to the Florida Classic, I'm going to go check it out. And it doesn't matter if my HBCU is playing in it or not. And I think that's what we offer. It's just a lifelong commitment. It's kind of like being in a fraternity or sorority. So it's a difference. And so I think that's what we have to offer. And we do it on a small scale with the NIL. It's not like the bigger schools, but I love it at the level that we are at, and I think we can be really good at it, and we can compete and get the players here and put them going to the next level. They'll do great in school, great in life, and that's what we're trying to do.
Last thought, what do you remember most about those days playing a good player, playing in the National Football League, and that playing in the Super Bowl with the Oilers? Yeah, it was Oilers at the time, and playing with Steve McNair.
Yeah, I mean, starting off with the Oilers and then Jacksonville, then with the Titans, it was a great experience. I tell all my guys, the NFL is a great way to make a living, and I was fortunate and blessed. I worked super hard, but for me to make it 11 years, you got to say that God was out there blessing you also. So I put a lot of work into it, and I got a lot of good stuff that came back to me. But yeah, just being on those teams and that NFL locker room. Winning playoff games on the road was always a big high. Of course, losing them is something that you never forget. It's always a part of you. And I know the documentary came out with Steve McNair recently, so a lot of guys have been asking me like, "Hey, man, what was it like playing this with Steve?" And I had the privilege to play against him in college. He was a freshman, I was a senior, and then I played with him in the NFL, and then I also played against him when I was Jacksonville. So kind of saw it from both sides. Super competitive guy. Loved the swag, had a swag tattoo on his arm. So when you say I'm swag, and that's what we say, you walk through the locker, hey, what's up, swag? How's it going, swag? And I think that's how we refer to ourselves in the NFL. So when people say, hey, man, what do you mean by I'm swag? Well, first of all, I've been saying it for the last 30 years. Y'all just heard me say it on TV one time. So it's something that's been going on. And so it was just a great way that all kind of happened. But I truly do love HBCU football, and I love coaching in this conference, and I think I'm really blessed to have the opportunity to fall in behind all of these other great coaches that got us to this point.
Eddie Robinson Jr., again in his third season as the head football coach at Alabama State, joining us here on Box to Row. The Hornets are going to face North Carolina Central in the Orange Blossom Classic on Sunday in Miami Gardens, Florida. Coach Robinson, and as always, we appreciate the time. Good luck to you and the Hornets.
Absolutely, and appreciate you covering us as much as you do. You do a great job. Thank you.